Trendy. I think it's like.
People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. First things first, I hope everyone's doing well and safe. I hope everyone's in good spirits. Obviously, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on whoever you guys are and wherever you are in this world. First things first, depending on whatever team you support, Arsenal, United, whatever, if you've lost, again, it hurts to lose, but we've all woken up on Monday morning with breath in our lungs, clothes on our back, and I hope food in our bellies. So with that, and importantly, good health, so we can always rewrite history. We can always have a better future, so I hope this week is filled with positive news for you lot, good health, moving that much closer to your goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations. So yeah, I know it's Monday. I know a lot of us hate Mondays, but let's start off the week strong. And then ultimately, when Friday comes, we can unwind and whatnot. So yeah, man. And if you're going through hardship, you can get through it, man. You just got to make that decision to keep going. It's easier said than done, but that is something I know, because I know how it feels to wake up every day wishing things would end. But anyways, as I said, I hope everyone's doing well and safe. Please do me a favor and hit the like button. Get any talking points and things tuned in, locked in. One love to everyone who was with me on Twitch at 10 a.m. We're obviously here at 11:30. We're going back to Twitch at 4 p.m. as it's football manager business. Definitely after the result where Arsenal's concerned on Saturday, I definitely want to run away into a video game. But saying that, it's the same frustration. So I hope everyone's doing well and safe. There's a number we've been linked with. Adeyemi. Xhaka's come up now. Xhaka rumors back to Roma. Renato Sanchez is up there. So we'll speak about that. I want to cover some tactical stuff as well from yesterday. I'm not going to bore you lot because you lost 4-0. I'm definitely not going to say it's shambolic, really. It is what it is. Man said, speaking of football manager content, I thought the title was an FM title. Chill, bro. FM content to come out on YouTube at 1 p.m. but actually live playing it, that's today. Live playing it 4 p.m. today. A, big up yourself. Joe, big up yourself. GB has said, Pedri named Golden Ball 2021 over Florian Wirtz. Jude Bellingham and Bukayo Saka takes over from Haaland. To be fair, I can't disagree with Pedri getting that, but there's some fantastic names. Wirtz is now coming on the scene. Bellingham's a bad boy. Bukayo Saka, shameless. I don't mean to overrate Bukayo Saka, but I think he's the best player to have ever kicked a football. Banter aside, shout out to him, man. Big up to you lot. Morning, D. Seen the attacking stats doing the round, pretty damning. Optimism's lost again. Let me see that, because I haven't seen any of that. But what I will say is I can't say I'm surprised. What we've created 7 chances from open play. We rely on individual brilliance a lot. If Smith Rowe and Saka can't really do the magic, then it's not happening. We don't really create many chances. We don't put teams under sustained pressure. There, of course, has been games we've done it, games we've had, we're happy to see 10 shots on target. I'm happy to see us score 3 goals against Liverpool, but we're not playing to our attacking potential at all. Whatever you have to say about Lacazette, Pepe, Aubameyang, all of these guys, scoring goals shouldn't be a problem, or at least creating goals at this club shouldn't be a problem. Is it personnel? On one hand, yeah, but is it the system? Is it the utilization of these players as a manager? Yeah. And I'm not talking directly against Liverpool, but can't really say I'm surprised, really and truly. We don't create goals. We don't score. We're not a great defensive side. So it's like, what are we really doing? And I feel fans, I've said these exact same things whether we've won or lost, but it is what it is, man. What's your view on Pochettino to Man United? I offered my opinions on that at 10 a.m. today, but it'd be a good sign, someone they need, really. Missed out potentially on Szoboszlai. I can't do the same with Adeyemi. I think we're not going to get Adeyemi, but we can try. How you been? Apart from what happened on the weekend, I'm in good spirits, broski. I'm in good health. I'm doing well and safe. What else can I complain about? And I hope you lot, can say the same, really. What we do need to start doing, however, is making some timestamps, really. Let's call that 0-0 to this young players excuse. What else have some of you said? AUBA and LACA together. I see someone mentioned that. General. That's not how you spell general. General. Arsenal chat. Get some opinions and whatnot in. I just had a brain fart. That's how I know it's Monday, man. Forgot how you spell general. Smash the like button on the way in. Shout to Sandro. Go and do up his podcast as well. Let them know where they can find that, man. Exactly, DG. Spot on. 13 goals scored. Not good enough. 7 from open play. It's only the 19th in the Premier League. Exactly. We're in trouble there. And this is where even if we sign a bad boy striker, obviously, if we was to sign Messi or Salah, we're going to score goals. But them men are going to struggle in Arsenal shirt because we don't know how we're getting it from back to front. Of course, there's been times we've played out from the back. Even, I think it ended up with a tame effort from Aubameyang where he could have worked Alisson. But even against Liverpool, not many, but we did it. But, you know, for me, if we're harping on, for me, I don't know about anyone else, whether we score goals or not, it just feels as Arsenal fans, when it comes to scoring goals or attacking chances, well, we could over a 98 game, we can remember only 3-4 because there's only 3 or 4. We, you know, these things should be a byproduct. You know, I can remember Partey's little nutmeg against Fabinho. You know, because again, and the effort, we've had tame efforts. We don't really shoot. Players could take more responsibility, but you could see the gaps now in the second half of the Liverpool game. You could evidently see gaps opening because we're becoming a bit indisciplined. And I think Tomiyasu went walkabout, Bearman went walkabout. We're going to get into it, but we don't score. The movement's not good enough. We don't create. You know, this is why you're not going to see how can Smith Rowe and these guys get 10 goals, 10 assists? We don't have movement. We don't create chances. We don't score. You know, we need to address the spine of this team. We need a number 8 and we need a striker. But if they come in tomorrow, I haven't seen anything from Mikel Arteta to suggest we're going to get the best out of them. Not a single attacking player has thrived for a whole season at this football club under Mikel. So is what it is. I'm sure Arteta is happy to see the back of Oli. He's not lost to him, and it's peak right now. It's peak. Our midfield is an issue, but again, for me, I'm tired of talking about it because I'm not even vexed at the midfielders, you know, because a lot of them are not none of them have the profile that we need in midfield, in the sense of we needed Lokonga and Partey, but we don't have people that can relieve pressure by holding onto the ball for us. People that can play a lovely pass. You know, we need a Jorginho, a Kovacic, you know, a Rodri, a Gundogan, you know, Kevin De Bruyne. Of course, it's easier said than done. Bernardo Silva finding these players. We need some more technical players because it's meaty right now. The one sort of technical midfielder needs a billion touches on the football. And people would say, yeah, after a game like yesterday, of course we miss Granit Xhaka. But there's been games we've won where we've needed him like Spurs, and there's been games we've lost. It's always the one that isn't involved. You know, again, if you can't, we don't defend well enough. We're not an expansive team. So this is where you're going to keep seeing this. And on top of that, you've got a young team making naiveties and stuff like that. There's issues where it's concerned, man. But kind of bored of talking about Liverpool, man. I can't lie to you, man. I watched back your stream from yesterday and you were speaking facts. We said last week in the build-up, we can't overhype the current competence because of the past incompetence. Broski, it's getting boring, man. Like, I'm still where I was at the start of last season. Oh, Lokonga's a great player, man. A good young player with a lot of potential, but he's a young man, and these things have been coming in Lokonga's game. You know, man, have to realize these young boys. They need to realize you need to be at it for 90 minutes. You need to keep your high standards when you get tired. You need to keep your high standards when it's clearly not your day. Like, we was becoming indisciplined. Of course, you know, after the whole Arteta Klopp thing, Liverpool were riled up. There was moments in the game where we was kind of in it. Then it started, Liverpool just showed their dominance. And that could happen. Sometimes, as a sign of maturity for the manager and for the players, sometimes we need to be humble at times and say it's not our day. And we might be playing a 4 out of 10. It don't go below a 4. We was in free flow. And the last 3 goals, the last 2 in particular, for me, they're unacceptable because we're cheating ourselves, really. It is what it is. And to be honest, with these young players, you expect that. You know, Lokonga's had to learn his harsh lessons. I've been saying against Palace, against Brighton, this guy needs a million touches on the ball. You're going to remember how out of depth he was against Liverpool. Tavares is going to remember that mistake. You know, what I'd say is, you know, hold them accountable for the mistakes, but don't turn on them because they've had more good games than bad, you know. They're still learning. They've been in the country much less this league and this team and the expectations for 6 months. It is what it is. I'm more annoyed about the midfield. I'm not actually annoyed that we got smacked 4-0 against Liverpool. I prepared for that. Of course, I'm not happy with it. I'm just happy with this happy with what we did in the second half. First half, weren't amazing. It was amazing the fact that Liverpool didn't do what they did in the second half in the first. We let ourselves down for the goal we conceded. We let ourselves down with the marking. You know, we barely offered anything. But second half is when it went to free flow. And as I said before, I'm looking at Arteta because to change things because it was looking like that was coming at 1-0. You could see that was coming, and I felt cool. Let's just try and preserve any confidence that we've built up this week, because these lot are about to get battered. And you started to see the indiscipline. You know, even Tavares, he's made one mistake and then he's still playing that same pass. For these young people, it's a test. They have to get mentally within the right in the right frame of mind. Even fact, Tavares, he's overcompensating. You go and look at Salah's goal in the build-up. It's not just him. As I said, there were starting to become gaps in our team, and I'm gonna hold on in a second with the tactical review. Gaps were starting to open, and if you look at the one Salah scores, Tavares needs to stay with Salah instead. You know, to be fair, no one else is able to stop Mane. Tavares completely disregards Salah and goes to the ball. Salah has a tap in, and again, I'm not even really getting at them two, because it should have been stopped at source. You know, you look at Henderson, the pass Henderson played in the build up to Minamino scoring. We're not looking over our shoulders. We're not following runners. We're not talking. Liverpool is not the team to do that against, especially when you're tired. So again, game management, man management, you know, damage limitation. This is stuff a lot of these young boys want to learn. There's a lot of positives we can take on these 10 games prior to playing Liverpool. There's a lot of negatives to take from the Liverpool game. We start again. We try and go on another run. You lot haven't achieved the damn thing. If there's any complacency or anyone thinks they're better than what they are, get out of it. Because what I will say is that's been coming. Maybe not getting battered 4-0, but these little aspects of people's game has been there, and it's going to happen. I'm not turning on a single player. I would have started Tierney. Tavares, I've said it before. I said he's suspect defensively. You know, I said you're going to see this, but I still think you could get a tune out of him. Lokonga, you're my guy. He needs to hold his L, because while I don't feel you necessarily made a game-changing mistake, you was out of your depth. Learn from it, innit? You know, you say you want to be in the Belgian team. You say you want to be a 6 or an 8. You need to learn you ain't got a million touches in possession. Tomiyasu, I'm not going to lie, fucking shit against Liverpool. I'm not going to lie. Eaten alive, you know, normally spot on defensively. That's the one thing I'll give him. As I said, Arteta's got to be able to show he can develop, man, because, you know, from what I've seen with Tomiyasu, I'm not asking man to be a Japanese Dani Alves. That's not his game. He's never been that. But you're going to need to get a tune out of him, because unpopular opinion, you're going to get found out. I said it. Tomiyasu does not go forward. That's an invitation to get there. Sometimes I think he gives the ball away cheaply. Clearly, Arteta told them to get high and try and intercept the ball in the second half. Tomiyasu was trash there. He left Ben White exposed. Again, Tomiyasu's lack of attacking competence, whether he's becoming now in the 3 or not, is going to cost Saka and Pepe. Until he starts overlapping a bit more, you're not going to see too much from that. You know, eating alive. Tomiyasu's still my guy. That's been due for Tomiyasu. He should have got savaged against Brighton, really. Get with it. Ramsdale, it might not have been your time, but there's been 1 or 2 mistakes, generally minimal from you, that you've gotten away with. Really, you fumbled the ball against Liverpool. I think Ben White was okay. Obviously, he got spanned by Jota and tried to bring it out from the back and got caught. These are the things they're going to have. As long as we're learning from this and there's a means to an end. What I don't want to see is you lot in 2 years, you're still playing like this. You know, you've got to learn from it. And what I would say is, nothing can replace emotion. Sometimes you've got to learn on your own accord, people. And I'm sure these players are. I'm sure Arteta and the boys, you know, when Ramsdale shouting at Lokonga over at Crystal Palace, I'm sure they're taking heed. But nothing can replace how it feels to make, you know, in Tavares' case, to play that blind pass, Tomiyasu to get run ragged, the team disappointment, you know, that journey from Liverpool back down to London, that the emotions you have, it is that, you know, learn from that. Don't want to be in that position again. Forgive yourselves. Today we go again. You know, in many ways, it was a different 4-0, you know, but in many ways, it's not. You lost 4-0, you conceded. Yeah, you handed Liverpool 3 cheap goals, but what do you expect? You know, Liverpool are a quality team. They don't need to be at their best to beat the majority of Premier League sides, much less us with our young squad. You hand them opportunities. Like I said, these are lions. You're in the jungle. If you're a bruised prey in the jungle and you walk past a lion's den, they might not be hungry at that moment in time, but they're going to do something. And for me, it was just, listen, you can't stop Salah. Mane probably should have been sent off on reach. And Jota is a good player. But for me, it's against Liverpool, pressing, aggressive, and movement. You know, we're not following runners. Anytime you don't do that, you're in problems. So, a lot of naivety is bordering on stupidity in that game, in my opinion. And I just feel with Arsenal, people lack balance. Every week, these guys are the best thing since sliced bread, or they're the worst players in the planet. Hit the like button. You need balance, especially where we're at now. One thing I don't like is saying you can't draw conclusions when we win, lose, or draw. The only time to draw conclusions is May. The only time to see a real reflection is in January, if that's what you believe. But I do think it's a bit subjective when it comes to talking about Arsenal. We can only judge Arsenal when the conditions are right, without taking heed of everything. We can only judge Arsenal when everything's going our way. Fair enough, you know, it's a bit harsh to judge Arsenal with the first 3 seasons, but as my mate in the WhatsApp group put it, people, I can't really disagree. You can't judge Arsenal on a loss. You can't judge Arsenal in a loss to Liverpool. You can't judge them in the first 3 games of the season. You can't judge them on lucky wins against Brighton or Palace, nor on narrow wins. You can only judge them on Spurs and Villa games. And I think you can judge them on all. I can't overly praise them for beating Spurs. I can't negatively get at them for Liverpool. There's positives and negatives. And I think, ironically, all those games that I've said, there's been warning signs against Spurs. The best thing we did is score that second because we allowed them back in the game. Second half, it could have went a different way. Villa, second half, they came at us. And for Arteta, the minute he took off Lacazette, Douglas Luiz started to get in the game. These players need to read these signs. Obviously, Lokonga had a mare and had a couple of Ibuki moments. Palace, you know what it is. Brighton, I think it was more the tactics than the personnel. We was out of our depth. I think you can judge on all. You can't draw conclusions. Every game paints a bit of the puzzle. You know, this was a good reflection of where we are. Truthfully, we ain't gone nowhere. You know, as Arteta said at the start, we've only won X amount of games. We ain't done nothing. You ain't done nothing. You know, any complacency these players had, you know, oh, it's a young player thing. They said that we was rubbish. We're now 5th and whatnot. Get with it. Because end of the day, if you lot don't get in Europe, it's you lot's fault. There's going to be injuries, losses of form, many twists and turns, bumps and bruises. But at this moment in time, you control your destiny. You sit 5th. No, every Arsenal fan would have taken that to sit 5th in November with everything considered. Yeah. Down to the players. Where do you want to be in May? You know, you haven't achieved anything. So for some of you that have forced your way into the first team, for some of you that are established first teamers but had to do that, everybody restarts. Everyone's got a point to prove. Nobody's achieved a damn thing because you haven't. You know, you need to do things for years. You know, if you look at Liverpool, on top of them being Premier League and Champions League winners, you should look at them and say that's where you need to do. Them man have done that for about 3-4 years. They've got to Champions League finals, won and lost. They've been in title challenges. They didn't get there overnight. There's the hard graft. You need to earn it. There's no cheating that. If these boys take heed, there could be something there for them. If they don't take heed, then, boy, it's going to be the same old, same old. 45 likes, people. We're not quite there yet. Hit the like button if you haven't, people. So that's that, people. You know, we're going to have many results like this. You know, this is, in some ways, the Liverpool game. The only difference is the scoreline. A lot of the crap we saw was there, man. You know. We've got to give these young players time to develop, but what we can't do is not talk about them. What I don't like, as I said, is people just turning on, man, as Arsenal fans are going to do and whatnot. You know, they're going to be the best thing since sliced bread and then they're rubbish now. It's not that. So it is what it is, man. I would have started Teeny, but I don't think man could have won. I don't think I'm harsh on TT. I said the man's amazing and football is harsher. You know, am I being more harsh than Mane and them man down the left wing? No, you know. Tomiyasu is a quality player, but, you know, just because I like you, if we're honest with ourselves, with Tomiyasu, the bar is on the floor. You know, the bar is on the floor. You know, it doesn't take much to do better than Bellerin. You know, Tomiyasu, I judge a man on what he comes with. He's clearly a steady Eddie, kind of an old school right back, but this is a new game. As I said, not expecting Japanese Dani Alves. He needs to improve going forward. And again, read between the lines. None of, as you know, Tomiyasu does not look 22. You know, he's very mature. But we have not signed players that are the finished article. Even the 50 million we spent on Ben White, Arteta needs to improve, man. So looking at Tomiyasu, there's a lot he can actually improve defensively. Offensively, there's a lot he can improve. And in terms of how he works with the right back, now we're going to see what Arteta can do with these players long term. Tomiyasu got savaged, you know. When I'm gassing up Tomiyasu and I'm saying he's great, no one tells me I'm being OTT. So why are people telling me that I'm being harsh? Football is harsh. Anything I'm saying with Tomiyasu, because of his culture and things, he's probably harsher on himself. He's got a growth mindset. He's very, you know, Lokonga the same. And anything I could say is harsher getting ripped to get, bro, what's harsher? My comments here and learning from this if they could, or what happened at Anfield, or what could happen again. That's harsher. I know what I would rather as a fullback. I don't want to get savage, razzled, dazzled, fried, deep fried, jerked, boiled, you know, all of these things against Mane. He got cooked in all different definitions of it. Tomiyasu struggled out there. Just like against Spurs, Saka as well. No one said nothing about them two defensively. Everyone gets on to Tierney. Nobody said a damn thing about Saka defense. Saka's defending is poor. No one said about anything about the Chelsea game. Tomiyasu is amazing. It doesn't mean I have to bum suck everything every player does. It doesn't matter if you're Bukayo Saka, Tomiyasu, two of my favorite players within this team, or your players that I don't have much time for. You know, if you've played well, I give you your praise. If you've messed up, you've messed up. Tomiyasu struggled yesterday. You can call it harsh. If you want Disneyland opinions, man, have to go to Disneyland because this is real life. Look, I know some of you like the wool being pulled between your eyes. You thought that certain things were going to be different, being unbeaten and stuff. Football is not romantic. If you want it to be romantic, you need to earn it. And I'm saying this because I love these players. Logically speaking, I'm going to target Tomiyasu's side long term if I start to clock that man doesn't go past the halfway line too many times. And Arteta likes to do the narrow thing. Same way as you saw in the build up to the goal, they're getting at this left-hand side. And they self-inflicted, but they probably knew Tavares would crumble. Come on now, you know, logically, we're Arsenal fans. Look at the weaknesses. If you wasn't an Arsenal fan, how would you get this team? The space in behind whatever left back plays. Attack the space that you're being invited to that Tomiyasu's giving. You know that midfield, there isn't much to it. They're not the most expansive. Let them play out from the back. The minute it comes into midfield, they will let themselves down. That's not me being negative. That is what Arsenal do. It's shown with our ball retention numbers, with the creation of chances, with the touches in certain areas. But you can't argue with what you're seeing there. Come on now. You know, I don't like what I'm seeing with some Arsenal fans in that. Like I said, we're not talking about debating and asking. All of a sudden, the unbeaten run is now irrelevant. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter that Tomiyasu, Tavares, all these Lokonga have had decent games. Man, just calling them shit now, where they were poor in that 90 minutes, but they're not bad players. They've got a long way to go. And obviously, games like this highlight how difficult it is to install consistency as a young man. And obviously, we have to move away from the individual brilliance, which has been getting us through it. We can't. Saka looks like he needs to be. He'll probably be at it against Newcastle, but Saka looks like he needs to be taken out the team, just breathe a bit and come again. You know, it's not going to be a Saka and Smith Rowe thing every week. And when it's not, where are the other guys? We've got elephants in the room with Lacazette and Aubameyang. And obviously, there's games where they've shown they can play together. Games like yesterday, it's probably shoehorning, you know. This time next year, you know, Aubameyang's contract will have 6 months. We need to know what we're doing there. We need to address this midfield. Once again, it's shown that Arsenal Football Club need midfielders. I think Watford showed that, and I think this game showed it. And obviously, on top of that, for me, Arteta needs to show he can get more out of them. Attack is a form of defense. How you attack, you know, is a form of defense. How you retain the ball is a form of defense. Look how much, you know, Brighton and West Ham got at Liverpool versus us. We didn't do much. And I'd say as well, for the players mentally, they didn't look like they believed that they could cause problems when they could have. Mentally, we looked like we respected them too much. The first half, I think Arteta set us up as good as he can, and we conceded a silly goal before the end. Second half, I think the players reverted into old habits and looked like boys against men. And I think Arteta was way too slow to react. There's no point bringing on Elneny 5 minutes from time where it's 4-0. That needed to happen before, sort of thing. It is what it is, man. Hold our L, we go again. But yeah, it is what it is, man. We'll get into the tactical stuff in a second, people. Hit the like button if you haven't. Keep any opinions and whatnot coming, people. As you know, it's always fantastic to be here. Arteta has a good heart, but he's not ready for this like some of the players he's brought in. Time, and it comes with the manager's tactics and tutorials. He's still learning. Arteta thinks he can use the same players, formations, and tactics every game. He needs to realize every game's different. I hear that. But I don't think he could have won against Liverpool. Man would have said you're naive or you're negative. I wouldn't. I would say I don't think the tactics were necessarily wrong how we started. I just feel, and this is me being a bit defeated, it looked like these boys were going to crumble. It looked like the onslaught was coming. I could see that. I said it on my live stream. You could see we're going to concede 3-4. That's when I'm looking at my manager and saying, listen, we've got to be humble. You know, the game's gone. You know, there's something in the air. Damage limitation now. Save a bit of face. We didn't do that. And there's been many times under Arteta, I've sat here in games and everybody's waiting for a change apart from, and he's not doing it, or he's very slow to react. And I've seen that against Olympiacos, against Sparta Prague, against Brendan Rodgers in the second half of, I want to say last season, but maybe, no, it was last season, because I swear we lost to Leicester, Wolves and Villa kind of week to week at home. It seems like any competent manager puts him in problems. And I think at times he can't see it. I think he's as naive as a young Lokonga out there in the second half, or a young Tavares. I think he's like that. And again, as long as we're learning from this, this is my thing. G1, big up to you, man. Appreciate you for locking in. Surprised you ain't changed that to an Oli Gola social picture. Gabriel and Ramsdale were my man of the matches. Unpopular opinion, I think Ben White had a better game than a lot of men as well. But Gabriel and Ramsdale tried. Same way Gabriel kind of switched off for the first goal to go with Tomiyasu. And this is what I'm saying. People got to take responsibility. And this is my agreement, Amani. I'd rather these young men make these mistakes because at least there might be some light at the end of the tunnel. You know, there'll be, of course, you know, half of these players could be here in theory for years. There'll be games where we get smacked up. It doesn't mean we're never going to get smacked up again. But as long as we're learning, as you lot already know, you know, we type in certain man, there's many madnesses that they've done year in, year out in bare 90 minutes. We lose creativity when Tini is missing. He was one of our most creative players last season, which I agree with you. But that highlights the issue. Our left back should never be the most creative, you know. Cancelo, as great as he is, he's not the most creative in that team, you know. Liverpool, Trent probably is the most creative, but that's probably as a, you know, that's because they rely on their fullbacks. And even that, man can sit around and say, Thiago, what are you talking about? You know. So it is what it is, man. We probably miss Xhaka because he gets onto the ball, but there's been games Xhaka's played crap as well. This is the thing with Arsenal. It's always the man that weren't involved. That's the Messiah. I like Tavares, but I knew it was shaky from when we like him because of his defensive prowess more than his defensive, which is funny because fans fell in love with Tini because he's good defensively. TT doesn't go forward as Arteta tells him to stay back. I don't think that's always the case. You still, no matter how narrow Arteta wants you to be, as a fullback, you still got to get forward. That's just a byproduct of the game. All the new signings apart from Ramsdale were good. Are you talking about isolated to that game? G1, I'd have to question, are you actually watching the game, Carl? Ramsdale was all right. I'm not sure if Saka was told to go on Van Dijk. And even if it is, that's crazy. You know, I don't think anyone was really, because we weren't trying to press them. We were sitting off, and once they get into certain space, if anything, it looked like Saka was told what he normally is, to be very narrow and compact. So I'm not too sure on that, but I hear that. People are saying too harsh. It's harsh reality. Tomiyasu had this game. Bro, Tomiyasu is still my guy, but this is why, bro, nobody says you're overpraising when we're gassing it. So why, you know, I haven't said he's fucking shit. He's terrible. He shouldn't be here. Why can't we talk about bad games? What's wrong with you, look? Come on now. I can't lie. I'm happy with Tomiyasu over Max Aarons. I like Lamptey as well. I think Lamptey would have been a good signing, but they want an arm and a leg. Tomiyasu clearly is limited, and it's an area to address. But, you know, this is where I'm saying, again, if you scouted Tomiyasu, you must have known he's not the best attacking wise. You're going to need to develop him, especially if you want to be an attacking team. So hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel, man. The attacking side of our game is becoming beyond worrying because these same stats were about last season. Yes, we have built from the back, but we have gone nowhere in the attacking wise. And that's it. And I still wouldn't say we're a good defensive team. We built clean sheets and stuff, but you need to earn the right to be mentioned as a good defensive team. You know, we played well for a couple of games and it's still a young team. Same way Tavares made a mistake. Ben White, Ramsdale, these guys are going to make these things. That's because they're young. So when you're not a good defensive team, when you're definitely not a good offensive team, you find yourself worrying, how are you gonna thingy? How are you gonna get 3 points? Really and truly. When Arsenal win, proper team with proper men. When Arsenal lose, impubescent boys go easy on them. It's a miracle what Arteta is doing. Exactly. And for me, it's just the fact of, you know, you can't say when we win, great signs of maturity from the young boys, and then just say don't get at them because they're young. It don't make sense. It really doesn't. You know, it seems like we can only judge Arsenal when we're winning. Yeah, nobody's expecting to beat Liverpool. But what did we all say? We all said it's about the performance, and it's a more positive 4-0, as I keep saying, than many people than we've become accustomed to. But fundamentally, it's still losing 4-0 with capitulation. So what are we really talking about? Had we have won 4-0, you know, even though we should get gas, but we shouldn't get gas and think we're doing stuff. Nobody would say, calm down the hype. You got to take the rough with the smooth. As long as there's no agendas, it's calm. The other 8 games are all winnable until we face City. Personally, I don't know. I don't think Arsenal have earned the right to say winnable games, even the games we've won. You know, we could have dropped points against Watford, against Villa, you know, against Spurs. Half of these teams, Leicester, fair play, we did our thing. I'll give them that. But I don't know for winnable games. You know, Arsenal, I think, as I said, this is going to be our season. They're going to have moments of brilliant form. Games where we think we're going to win, they do bewildering stuff. Games where expectations on the floor, they stand up to be counted. Obviously, in the name of achieving consistency, which none of these players have. Arsenal fans are too sensationalized. You'll have to highlight both the positives and negatives. You lost against Liverpool, which is bad, but it doesn't make the Spurs result a bad thing either. I don't like when fans say free hit, tired of being bopped at Anfield. I see what man mean about free hit, but I wouldn't say it's a free hit. It doesn't mean just go out there and do nonsense. What I mean is that free hit for me is that, you know, you players are not going to live or die by these 90 minutes. There's a golfing class, but it was a game to see a true test of how you are. You know, if we made it a bit harder and the youthful naiveties came to light, we could sit there and see. Now, as much as I think there's positives to take prior to this game and we shouldn't be doom and gloom, if you look at it on a harsh thing, you could say this is the same old thing because you didn't see nothing new. You know, yeah, you're half in it for 38 minutes until the mistake happened, but was you in it necessarily? I don't know. Should Arteta have played a three in midfield versus Liverpool? Probably, but then when you look at it in real time, you had LACA narrow, Smith Rowe tucking in, so he somewhat drafted in two official midfielders, and most of the time we was quite narrow and compact. Tomiyasu's over there, that was encouraging Ben White to step into midfield, so he tried to kind of mitigate against it, and obviously they're just a golfing quality. I would say this game was a lot. This game could have stayed at 1 or 2-0, but we capitulated. You know, we were very undisciplined. We were in free flow for the last 2 goals. Mentally, you know, we set ourselves back with conceding that second. Mentally, we switched off from a set piece before half time. The only goal I look at from a Liverpool perspective, all them goals are wavy. They did their thing. But the only goal I can really have peace with as an Arsenal fan is the first one, because it's Trent Alexander-Arnold's a good ball. Mane's made a good run. The movement and the foul, you know, and what we did, we could have done a lot better. The other goals came through a lack of indiscipline, and we stopped sticking to the script. And both Mane will rip bare, man. You know, man get ripped. Trent Alexander-Arnold, as great as he is, has had games where he's been terrible. It happens as long as Tomiyasu learns from it. But I can only comment on what I see, and Tomiyasu struggled. I think Tomiyasu in particular struggled. Crazy, man. But again, you just have to go again, man. No feeling sorry for yourselves. And to be fair with you, I think there should be a couple of changes made, really. For me, I'd want to retain faith in Saka, but I think Saka looks mentally knackered. And even when we've been winning, he's just not doing a madness. So, like, he's just not been good enough, if I'm honest with you. So that spot should be up for grabs. Midfield, there should be a change. Lokonga, digiting against Watford. It was probably between you and Ainsley. Personally, I was screaming Lokonga. It should be Ainsley Maitland-Niles going into Newcastle. But at the same time, wholesale changes can mess up any fluidity we've got. I know when you lose a game, it puts things up for question. Tierney comes in for me, by the way. But yeah, man. People don't have hype. I mean, people don't have balance, you know. It's very emotional. Jarring, man. I mean, this is why talking about Arsenal, especially when results like the Liverpool one, it can be frustrating and exhausting, because certain people on this doom and gloom thing, certain people are finding, you know how Arsenal fans, they're special in it. Like the new one that's being twanged, Arsenal had the same amount of points as Liverpool in 2021 or whatever. That's tired, man. Bro, Ainsley came on and fucked up as well, blood. Like, come on, like, sold short by Tavares, but I don't believe Lokonga and Tavares. Well, Ainsley's man, he can stay and have a role, but bro, none of these midfielders are gonna cut the mustard long term. Tavares is good. I mean, man said Tavares. Lokonga's gonna be big bro and be the big bro one day and take over from Partey, and we need him in our squad. We need a number 8, bro. Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Lokonga is meaty. Ainsley and Partey, Lokonga and Partey at best, they're meaty. I like having these options, but they're meaty. What am I talking about? Like, come on now. And this is why I don't really get vexed at them, because in the summer I was saying you need a number 8. You know, these men are limited. You can get a tune out of them, but if you're trying to run these midfielders, and this is why I think certain Arsenal fans were smoking budge, because they had all of this and they were screaming, go out and get Basuma. If people get injured, things can happen, and there's roles, but bro, like, you man don't want to break down the low block. We won't be able to get past ourselves. Tired, bro. We ain't got any different specialists, and Arteta needs to get some. We ain't got no specialists. You know, in a game like yesterday, Santi, we still get rid with Santi, but Santi might hold on to the ball, do a little dribble, and win a foul, get higher up the field, or hold on to, bro. We can't have all the man them in midfield. Like, you can't have all the man them on the pitch. Like, I think that highlighted it yesterday. We need some geezers in that, man. Crazy, man. And I think people just expect Partey. Partey's been hard done by since he signed for this club for me. Like, but man, start forgetting when people sign for Arsenal, we start forgetting people have limitations, man. Like, Partey's not had a partner. Like, the man was not fully fit against Liverpool. You know, we expect this man to be a ball winner, a defensive mid, a ball winning midfielder, a 6, a 8, a progressive passer. All of you lot sat there and waffled to me. Oh, he could be an 8, you know, and this and that. Same way you lot are saying it about Lokonga, bro. Lock down one row first, and then we'll have that conversation. It's a myth. When man come to Arsenal, lines start getting blurred. He can do this, he can do that, they can do this, they can do, bro, do your job first, everything else. That's where it is. And I feel sorry for Partey. Partey needs to up it, needs to do a lot more, but he's being hung out to dry, really, in my humble opinion. But minor deal, he's decent. Could try Odegaard as an 8, it could work long term, but it's gonna be a next hit and miss one. Oh, Thiago in particular, joy to watch, man. And he weren't doing things that are necessarily headlines, but just that things like just the way, look, Thiago's not doing anything expensive, just recycle ball, just get onto the ball, keep things moving. And Liverpool have players like that. You look at all of Liverpool's midfield, even the less glamorous midfielders like Henderson, bro, he can do what I'm asking that Arsenal need to find players for. I'm not saying to sign Henderson or Henderson should be the most creative outlet, but we don't have midfielders who can just keep it ticking, hold on to it, spray it. You know, you never see our midfielders saying, chill, come short. And you know, the ones there, we never really see none of that with our team. The midfielders, I said it in the summer, we're going to live or die by our midfield. This is why I don't get too vexed, because the personnel, it's like not having the tools. I like Lokonga. I like Ainsley. I don't think Xhaka is bad. I like Partey, but Partey is the only one that I think is 30, and he needs a partner. Him and Xhaka is hit and miss. You need someone that can do what the team wants Xhaka to do to another level, man. I expect Partey to be able to shoot on target and progress the ball forward at least, which he doesn't do. I don't care about anything else in his game. Well, that's not Partey's primary job in the team. So, Joe, it's not making sense. And to be fair to you, against Liverpool, funny enough, he did hit the target after not making Fabinho. And I think he did progress the ball. I think what you saw, Partey is not an expansive passer. What did you see Liverpool doing? Liverpool, a smart team, they clocked it. They cut off the passing lanes. Suddenly, it's gone into Lokonga, who doesn't want it and is not press resistant. Not to say Partey is. On top of everything, that's why we're in problems. I mean, if you're honestly asking me what Partey's job is after saying you expect him to progress the ball and shoot, then I don't know what Partey you saw. I can't help you, Joe. You're normally, in the speaking sense, you're normally here. All I would say to you is go and do your research. I previously said, and if you're not listening, you're not listening. He's meant to be a ball-winning midfielder. He's meant to be a box-to-box ball-winning midfielder. Primary job is to win the ball back and give it to the more expensive players, like he did at Atletico, where he had a clear job and a clear role and a clear task that he's expected to do everything. The very fact that you said you expect him to shoot and hit the target, are you expecting him to be our Ghanaian Bruno Fernandes? I don't know what YouTube documentaries and whatnot you watch, but you've been getting twanged. You know, I tell you, man, about the YouTube compilations. Unpopular opinion, I said it then and I'll say it again. Partey's never been this all-action. Partey's extremely limited. It's only at Arsenal, man, have been gassing up the things. A terrific midfielder, but he's not that. Come on now. You lot sold yourselves dreams. He's been a good footballer for us. He is, but man, I'm saying you expect him to hit the shot on target. Come on now. You don't even believe that. That's them comments there. That's just frustration from the game. I know it is, man. I know it is, because there's no way you genuinely believe that. There's no way you could look at Partey at Atletico Madrid and whatnot. You know, like, there's no way until we address that midfield and he has a proper partner. And forget the partner thing, because it's not even just Partey. Whether it's Lokonga, the new sort of Xhaka that comes into this team, Smith Rowe in the 10, they need to be a functioning unit, because I can't say it does. I do like a couple of pivots we've got, you know, Ainsley and Lokonga against low-level opposition. Partey and Lokonga have done all right, but neither are the answers. And if Arteta believes it, it just feels like at times we're just on this quick fix thing and we're riding it until the wheels fall off. Saying where Odegaard and Smith Rowe, it looked like the thing. Lacazette and Aubameyang, it looks like the thing until it ain't. So it is what it is, man. Shout out to Southgate for signing a new contract. That's good for him. Yuri Telemans and Fabian Ruiz both have 1 year remaining after this season. We buy one if we're serious. I mean, to be fair to Telemans, I ain't trying to hear Arsenal. I'm trying to go. You've been with PSG, Real Madrid, all these teams. If United get a serious manager, which they probably will, probably trying to hear all that. I'm not trying to hear Arsenal, but I would love it. I'm going to get twisted. Pardon me. And that's the problem. Partey doesn't fit the system, you know. Pardon me. Why is it when Arsenal sign players, they don't look like fits? Because there's something with our recruitment or how the system is. You're not going to see the best Partey. You're not going to see any of our attacking players, whether you rate them or not, score mad goals or play amazing and play to their attacking potential, as long as these questions still remain. Arsenal don't look like a team who, we look like a team that can defend, learn to defend. Once that ball gets into midfield, it doesn't look like there's a plan to get the ball in the back of the net. Yes, on occasion, Smith Rowe and Aubameyang, they had some good link-up play and there's some good individual brilliance from our Haaland boys, but that's as good as it gets. These should be byproducts. You know, of course, City's goals and a lot of what they do is a result of individual brilliance. But is it individual brilliance more time? Is it muscle memory? What they've been working on in the training ground? A result, just ultimately a result, a byproduct of the culmination of what they've been working on. I'll leave you lot with that, innit? What could have been signed, Pjanic could have been taken on loan, but that's my thing. Even if we sign them, man are going to look like square pegs in round holes. I think tactically as well as technically on the technical front, there's a lot of homework that needs to be done. And for me, it keeps me up at night because I've said it. The one area that should be addressed is the area you played in as a manager with Arteta and Edu. You man were midfielders. Same way if you man were centre halves and defense were looking shaky, I'm looking at you and saying, "Well, go on, brother. Like this was you, you know." You should be able to get this. Maybe because certain men were basic midfielders, they're not really fussed about stuff, but there's an issue there, isn't it? Really, really and truly. And then when you factor in the fact that there's going to be injuries across the season and we're not going to have everybody fit all the time or be in the best of form, we've got a good platform to build upon, but we've got a long way to go. It's as simple as that, really and truly, people. Away from all of that, though, I just want to offer something from a tactical point of view in relation to Liverpool versus Arsenal. I'll cut out this particular moment. As I said, people, you know, we were in it, well, somewhat in it, on the back foot, but in it for a couple of moments up until the first goal. The first goal, obviously, it was a byproduct of us chasing shadows, being sustained in our own half. Trent Alexander-Arnold gets an assist. No shame in that. The man could, you know, find a needle in a haystack and whatnot, but he could probably play a through pass with a piece of chewing gum for a tiny ant or something. But us, the movement, you know, Gabriel, Tomiyasu, neither player takes responsibilities. And for a team that's done well offensively and defensively from set pieces, it's disappointing, you know. It's disappointing. Gabriel, you look, listen, I'm not going to do it all in real time, but as you know, the balls eventually come in. Everybody drop a couple yards just to make it look a bit more realistic. The balls eventually come in. Again, not to scale. The ball's coming. Mane's a free man. He's put the ball in the back of the net. It's frustrating in terms of game management because we're fatigued at this moment. We're probably tired going into halftime. We needed to switch on. We let ourselves down. Okay, cool. That's the first goal I can accept, people. It's the other goals that I start having problems. I think this is the third. Is this the third? Yeah, where Salah ends up scoring. And then this is Minamino's. I think, anyways, I could be wrong. But anyways, as I said, we should look at this one first. We was becoming very indisciplined in the second half. I think, you know, I don't know if, I think Tomiyasu was told to get high, same way I was thought Ben White was told. But it looks like when the subs came on, and not just the subs, but we were becoming imbalanced, indisciplined. You know, there was a lot of gaps opening and Liverpool are starting, on top of the fans being on them, we're in trouble now. This is why I wanted to go to a back five, congest the midfield, because there's too many gaps. We're not getting near to Liverpool. And again, if you can't get near to the men on the ball or the options they can see, the one panic alarm is the people off the ball. Jota, Mane, Salah, Minamino when he came on, all of these guys on their bikes, alarm bells ringing. If they, as I said, if there's a sender, there's a receiver. We said that pre-game. Now we're playing a dangerous game. They're quick players. Our defenders aren't slow, but you wouldn't want to be in a foot race. Our line's getting higher. The gaps between the midfield and the defense, they're starting to appear, people, and it's getting quite brazy. It's getting quite brazy. I'm pretty sure this is Mane. This is Salah's goal again. I've done this in the morning. This was at 5:20. The ball's, as I said, the midfield. There's too much gaps. Tomiyasu is up high, and to be honest, Ben White's struggling in that regards because he can't see back of his head. He's just trying to survive. I think TT's done him quite dirty. Our midfield, they're not pressing together. They're too easy to bypass people, really and truly. So obviously, eventually, yeah, the ball's obviously been palmed into Mane, right? In real time, everyone started to drop. Focus with me with Tavares now, yeah? At some point, let's skip all the way again. At some point, these lot of all, one day we'll have the proper Sky Sports thing, but at some point, these guys have got into the box, right? And at some point, Mane's obviously did the bits. Now, Tavares hasn't done anything wrong at first with me. These lot actually weren't here. Tavares actually hasn't done anything too wrong. Ben White can't get him. Gabriel can't get him. Not to scale. A couple of other man couldn't get next to him. But if you look at Salah and Tavares, in the build-up to this whole thing, they're running together. And I like it from Tavares. He sensed, man, I have to get back. Salah's thinking, I can score. The one race Salah's fucked up now, and these lot weren't in the picture. The one place that Tavares fucked up is not even his fault. He needs to learn how to defend, did it? And his teammates have let him down. Like I said, I'm more angry at the midfield. Tomiyasu, I don't know where you are. If you're where you're supposed to be, you and Ben White might have half a chance. So I'm not blaming Tavares. I'm just saying this is, you've got to remember, we've got a team that has to unlearn bad habits that they've picked up at this club and along the way, and we need to learn good habits. Tavares, when he signed for this club, never mentioned once how good he likes to defend and stuff like that. He mentioned shooting with his right foot. So we're trying to change the mentality. Obviously, he's made a stupid, I'm not even going to, there's no need to show that. He made a stupid mistake for the goal. He knows that, we know that. But what I liked from him, obviously, he's trying to get back. Now, if you remember, not to scale, he's tried to get back now. He's actually, him and Salah are running together. I'm going to remove these lot because it's quite hard to show you like this. Him and Salah are running together from the build-up, people. Where Tavares F's up now is, there's somebody else there as well. And that's not how you spell Gabriel. Apologies, people. We're just going to leave that there for a sec. Tavares actually tries to close the ball down. Now, someone needs to tell him, look over his shoulder, or someone needs to tuck him for him, but he doesn't. Squared. Finished. Salah won't score any easier goals. As I said, the gaps, and this is why I was getting scared in the second half, sorry. And Alisson, I think I even counted it. There was like, for the last two goals, like 10 or 12 passes. It was quite, from the neutral cap, Liverpool were moving mad. From us, we're handing it to them, and you could see these things happening, which the club need to be able to rectify. Now, Liverpool have got our number. Again, like you saw from the previous slide, we're at 6s and 7s, midfield all over the shop. People are creeping into old habits. We're looking extremely indisciplined, right? Hit the like button if you haven't already, people. If you remember, the ball goes into Henderson now, yeah. And the ball goes into Henderson, and it's a lovely ball into the channel. Now, obviously, again, if you remember, eventually Mane has it here, and then obviously there's a sea of yellow shirts in the area. We're trying to defend. Obviously, it's gone out to Salah eventually. It's gone out to Salah, and again, no one's looking over their shoulders. Let's put a keeper in there. No one's looking over their shoulders and that. Again, there was more man in the box, but it's just to make a point. Eventually, Minamino has scored purely because he's made a fucking run. Like, Liverpool's game is on high intensity pressing and moving for the man in front. That's why they've scored these goals. We've been too open on the transition. Our first line of defense is our strikers. Striker in midfield, second half, too easily bypassed. And that's because we, mentally we look gone. Defense are our first attackers. We don't offer nothing. When the ball goes into midfield, our midfield is limited. And as I said, people, a blind man could see what was going to happen. Let me just change this all up. What I mean by our midfield being limited, you've got TT, my man said TT, you've got Partey and Lokonga, right? Yeah? All right, cool. We do our playing out from the back thing. It's wavy. It's cool. Like we play out from the back. You've got Benny Blanco, you've got Tavares probably slightly higher. You've got Gabriel who fancies it. You know, Tomiyasu's quite narrow. The midfield shows for it. The problem now is, you know, Liverpool clocked. All right, let's get on to Partey. We saw him have a great game at Anfield for Atletico. What did they say? Partey's job, as much as you lot try to blur the lines, Partey's a ball-winning, box-to-box midfielder, first things first. Anything else this man does for Arsenal or for Ghana or for any other club he plays for, like Atletico, is a bonus. Stop blurring the lines. If he's a great passer, he's a great passer, but this is his primary job, and he struggles at that. He's not going to be that. Liverpool cut off the passing lanes. If you lot remember, not to scale, but you had their front three. And then, obviously, they were quite narrow. You had their midfield stepping. They've cut off the ball to Partey. Partey can't get it now. If you pass it to Partey, you're putting him in trouble. You know, Lokonga don't really want it, and Lokonga's shown, I'm not going to show you, but whenever pressed, they were on to him. Suddenly, your midfield's out the game now, and they're already not the most expensive. So once again, you're going to have Smith Rowe. You're going to have Lacazette. You're going to have Aubameyang. You're going to have Bukayo Saka. They're going to either be narrow or go searching for the ball, where against Liverpool, that becomes indiscipline. Trent didn't have to do any defending anyways, but if you're not interested in defending, Salah's going to have the half space. And as you saw, Trent, is going to bomb down here. And actually, you saw that for the goal Tavares gave away, and that he actually done well to win the ball back. And then I didn't want to share because it's not relevant, but he won the ball back. And then obviously, I don't know what he's tried to do inside, and they've intercepted it and things like that, man. It's one of them. We handed them their goals, man, and that's all I can say from a tactical point of view. It's like. And for me, in the second half, you could see it felt, I wasn't at Anfield, but it felt like the tide was changing. You could genuinely see and feel that. And I think we could have reacted far sooner, if that makes sense. But here's what it is. Can you manage my team, Relevant FC? Talk to my agent, man. Talk to my agent. You know, compensation thing. I mean, Tavares directly turned the ball over in 2 of the goals, but honestly, he was fighting and he knew he messed up. Large improvement from previous defenders who either would turn blame or not take any. To be fair to you, he reacted, but I just want you to learn from it. Till the 40th minute, the team was holding their own. After that, you could see what the team was lacking for that next step. 2 more players in the injury room. One has to be an experienced quality centre mid, also a striker. Shout to you, Dave. You've said it. You need to come and sit in this seat. Crazy, man. Bro, Partey played with hella Spanish midfielders, and man are like, come on now, bro, man, like, come on. This is what I mean when I think we buy players, we don't understand them. Like Pepe, didn't understand him for all the criticisms. Partey, don't think we understand him. Xhaka even, don't think we've understood him. You know, it's brazy. It's brazy. Absolutely brazy, man. Let's get into some of the transfer talk anyways, man, and send ourselves in an imaginary world where we don't have to worry about things. But as you lot already know, signing a centre mid and a striker has to be a priority from now until the summer. I think the striker thing probably get left until January. Until the summer. I think midfield has to be priority, but it is what it is. Speaking of midfield, though, people, there's a couple rumours to discuss. Let's go with the first one of the midfielder that's actually here. He might be injured, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have admirers. Allegedly, Roma back on Xhaka goal for January. Now, I'd be open to letting him go if they pay the P's, but it doesn't really make sense. We're light in midfield anyways. We need to bring in midfielders. Might as well keep him. Saying that, again, if the 20 million euros that Arsenal did want is put on the table, I'll probably sell him. But might not be the wisest. Apparently, Roma and Xhaka is not a finished love, as anticipated by Corriere dello Sport Stadio. The interest of Roma for the Swiss midfielder has not vanished. The BBC also confirmed the news back in England, officially putting the Swiss back on the yellow and red notebook already for the January market. And I watched Roma yesterday. They played some young Ghanaian international, 18-year-old, and he scored. I'm going to do a video on him. Roma continues to look for a midfielder to extend the rotations and give Mourinho more choices. Last summer, as you know, he was their number 1 target. As you know, Xhaka has since signed a new deal and obtained a serious knee injury, which will keep him out until the new year. Apparently, his willingness to move to the capital was clear last June and may have not changed. So I don't know, apart from the dynamics and Arsenal needs players, if he will get his move, but fair play. That's Granit Xhaka. Away from that, Renato Sanchez has spoken. He spoke about his Barcelona move collapsing as well. He has said Well, Renato Sanchez admits Arsenal and Milan may be interested in signing him and reveals he had an agreement to join Barcelona in the summer. He went on to say, maybe Milan and Arsenal are interested, but I don't know. Milan are a big and historic club. It's class. I like them. I spoke with my agent. I know which clubs are calling and which clubs are not. I can't tell now, but I know I'm ready. If an offer comes in, I'll find out what's best for me. When I arrived at Bayern Munich, I was not ready to play in such a club. No, you wasn't, because you played well for like 18 months and they bought you. Which is true. He said, I was very young, and when I got ready, the opportunity to play with this team never came. Today, I feel ready. I understand football better. I have more experience. I know what I want to play in this kind of club, and that changes everything. He also said many clubs were interested this summer. When I sustained the injury, I understood that I would have stayed at Lille. It was all done with Barca. I think it all collapsed because of the injury. Boy, that's quite sad, really. So that's that. Away from that, we've been linked with Karim Adeyemi. Now, again, there's no bigger fan of Karim Adeyemi than me. I would love it to happen, but apart from being a football manager, I think it's a myth. We're going to join the back of the queue. We have a chance like everyone mathematically, but it's a myth. Gunners want Karim Adeyemi as Lacazette replacement. As you know, the Red Bull Salzburg teenager is on the North London side's radar ahead of next summer. I think he ends up at Bayern Munich or Borussia Dortmund to replace Haaland. I would hate for him to end up at Liverpool because Klopp will make this man move mad, and I think that could be the end of Firmino unless it's in a 10 role if he gets a look in. I mean, this guy can play on the left, on the right. You know, he's got a wonder of a left foot to go with Wirtz and Musiala and theyese guys. They're part of a scary new generation for Germany. This man is scary. You know, he's scary, and it's only taken, I think he's only getting his flowers in the last 12 months, 18 months. In fact, probably 6 months, really, because, man, I seeing what he's doing in the Champions League. Can't ignore him, really and truly. So, yeah, apparently Lacazette's going to leave. Apparently, we want to sign the Salzburg striker. It says 4-4-2. He's emerged as a long-term replacement for Lacazette. He's got 11 goals in 14 league outings. In the Champions League, he's got 4 goals in 6 games. And, you know, Salzburg have been part of some crazy games in the Champions League. And obviously, this is a man who will probably leave. So there is a bidding war. And to be fair to you, we could offer him development and a platform. Are you ready for Barcelona or Bayern Munich? If them teams call for you, can't say no. You know, as a German, seeing what Klopp's doing at Liverpool, and if Klopp calls you, that's there. The best place probably for your development in the interim steps, probably Borussia Dortmund. They'll make you a monster. And I know Daniel Marlon, ironically, ex-Arsenal player, he scored his first Bundesliga goal recently. He hasn't quite hit the heights. So they probably need you the most, really and truly. Bayern Munich, again, Lewandowski's not going to be there forever, and he'd be a good one. And they've got a couple young players in and around their first team as well. But in relation to our transfer news, that's that, people. It's an Arsenal interest. Roma want to sign Xhaka in January. So that's that, people, really, you know. Hopefully we sign a midfielder come Jan. If we don't, I think Arsenal are in serious trouble, if I'm honest with you. But I've said that from Jan. I've said a lot of these things. You lot say, oh, DG, you've been telling us. Yeah, because it's genuinely what I thought. Mastermind DG, I wish, man. I wish. Just a man with an opinion, man. Partey would look good next to Gilberto Silva, but then again, we're not going to have much going forward, man. We need Renato Sanchez. Adeyemi is what we need in Jan with Salah and Mane going AFCON. Bro, this is what you lot need long term. Bro, Karim Adeyemi is a bad boy. Ivan Toney is what Arsenal need. AUBA is a luxury player. What's going on? Partey was a match fit. Don't blame him. Hear it, man. I hear it. DG, you man need Vlahovic, someone who's ready to go now. I mean, I think Karim Adeyemi is ready to go now. And I hear you with the Vlahovic thing, but he's a very service-reliant striker. Take nothing away from him. He scored, you know, he batted it up again. Who did they play? I watched that in the weekend. He scored again, but we don't give our strikers service. At least with Karim, you could play him any other way. And obviously, there's a lot of bias around me saying that as well. I would like a top striker who's going to be a goal scorer. And then I would like us to find maybe a man that can just... You might not get goals, but, you know, kind of ironically what my man said with Ivan Toney, someone that can just give strikers, defenders a tough time. And gets the best out. Kind of does what Lacazette. If we can find someone that just scores goals and someone that does what Lacazette does, but scores 20 league goals, so we don't have to overcompensate, would be living. But we needed to have been scouting strikers years ago. And I mean, we tried to buy Martinez, we tried to get Isaac. So I'd love to hope we have. I don't know. Jimenez, I'll take him for the squad. I don't think he's really going to be the long-term thing. Man said, knowing these, man, we'll probably get Ceballos back on loan in Jan. Unpopular opinion, but I'd probably take it because we're moving like we're not trying to bring anyone to the fold, innit? So something's better than nothing. But well, I hear you, man. I can't say I'd be filled with optimism. And it's peak. I'm even typing in Arsenal on Google. All I see is Liverpool 4, Arsenal 0. Reds demolish Gunners after Jurgen Klopp and Mikel Arteta bust up. Liverpool show Arsenal the size of the task they face to bridge the gap to the Premier League's elite. Bro, allow me, man. Where's the bullshit transfer rumors? Or no one's done a little random interview or something. Allow me with the Liverpool game now, man. Let me just move on with this blur. Allow me, man. All right, fair play. We're getting linked with Van der Beek again. Fair, he's getting a new gaffer, so I can't imagine things are gonna change. Really, you know. Well, I can't imagine things are gonna change. What I mean by things are gonna change, and that he's gonna be sold. Boy, trying to see if there's anything else. You've been linked with Isaac again. You know, apparently ELNENYS is free to leave. Bro, we've got a lot to do in January. The reality is, man. You can't, bro. You know, you need to take the risk. And I just feel with us, we need to have a way of playing and just find a striker who fits it and the goals will come. Goals, you know, there's not too many quality strikers and you need to take an educated risk for these guys on the next levels, if that makes sense. Vlahovic is a service striker, so is AUBA, who gets less service. Exactly. So unless you're going to get a creative man or suddenly Arsenal are going to start creating chances for man to finish their dinner. And saying that every striker is really, but agreed, man. Like it's brazy, man. It's brazy. It's absolutely brazy. Hopefully we can do a thing. If not, boy, we're at where we're at, innit? Like fundamentally. Which is sad. Sorry for Rome. That's not what I put as my title. Rome is meant to be Arsenal. Karim Adeyemi-Roma Granit Xhaka. That is what it's meant to say. What are you lot saying? Hit the like button if you haven't, people. Sterling up top again, but them things there, it won't bang for us because you need to create better chances and that. Well, I would take Jimenez for the squad, but it's not really long term, is it? DG, strong striker and powerful midfield and rotate our winger, please. Pepe and Martinelli need to play. Arsenal need a striker that can bully defenders. Saka, Aubameyang, Odegaard too lightweight, bit harsh. I think Saka's quite strong, to be fair, for a little man. He doesn't get brushed off the ball easily. But I hear that. What else are you lot saying? Wait. It's interesting. Should we see some of the stats? Let's go on this great Twitter account, which is Albino. I always try and list this guy's Twitter account because it puts a lot of things into perspective. You know, when you look at our equivalent games, people, Arsenal took 11 points from their last 6 games, so that means they are now -1 against the equivalent 12 teams from last season. So, I mean, you look like improvements. Arsenal have conceded 32 goals in the last 8 Premier League matches at Anfield. Boy, Arsenal have won none of their last 9 Premier League visits to Anfield. 7 goals from open play in 12 Premier League games for the Gunners, which I agree with him. It tells you where our issues lie. The team has little control over games and creates so little chances. Only Wolves and Norwich have scored fewer from open play this season. This isn't good company to keep. Scrolling all the way down. Ramsdale has now conceded as many goals today, which was obviously Saturday, as he had in previous 8 games. Salah has 8 in 10 against us. Boy. Liverpool have scored 36 goals in the Premier League in 12 games against us under Klopp. Klopp hates us. Boy. Jota loves a goal against Arsenal. As you can see, people, Mane's got 8 in the Premier against us. He's only got more against Palace. He's loved scoring against us from his Southampton days. Boy. Doesn't make sense, man. Doesn't look good, but that's that, man. I hope so. To be fair, Jonathan Davis is doing his performances. DG, is it crisis mode if you drop points to Newcastle? I wouldn't say crisis because what, all of a sudden, just like we went on an unbeaten run, started messing about against Brighton and Palace, and people started rewriting history. I wouldn't say if we drop points against Newcastle, it's time to get out, throw everything away. I wouldn't say crisis because what, you're still going off of whatever games. But for me, it's the same old thing, really and truly. As I've said, we're in the same old position based off last season. We haven't done a damn thing really. So I wouldn't say it's a crisis for me because a long time ago I accepted these players for what they are. I saw this club for what it was, and I saw exactly how far it is to go. And boy, it's down to them. I mean, if you drop points against Newcastle, boy, there's issues there, and they're gonna want it as much as you lot. Ivan Toney has a character in him that we need from our striking department. I hear that, but we also need goals as well, bro. I never liked him, but I honestly think one of the North London clubs needs to move. I think you mean for Matic this winter. No, bro. No. Can't get behind that one. That's a myth. Big myth. Hell's going on here? Oh, I've already heard that. Shout out to young TT who's at me and stuff. Boy, in terms of ELNENYS stuff, people, scroll the way down. Arsenal set to miss out on 9 million transfer windfall after major Mikel Arteta decision. Talk about sensationalized headline. Let's see exactly what it's got to say. The father, what was that? The father of Arsenal midfielder Mohamed ELNENY has confirmed that the Egyptian is set to stay at the Emirates until the end of the season despite reported transfer interest. Maybe that's because you want to assess your options when you're a free agent. Maybe because you want to get the best deal for yourself. Maybe because you genuinely want to stay at Arsenal. Maybe because you want to stay at Arsenal in the hopes of winning a new deal. It is what it is. On one hand, I'd rather Arsenal sell him. He's going off to AFCON anyways. Pardon me. But on the other hand, we're lightweight in midfield. So that's that, people. Shouldn't be given a new deal, people. We have heard that, he's been set on returning to Turkey, but it is what it is. See what his father says. His dad has told Shams TV, wherever that is. Arteta wants Mohamed to stay. He might need him in the coming period, so he'll remain until the end of the season. I hope that he'll finish his career at El Ahly, which is and then he's not going to close it anytime soon. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. Apparently, alongside reports of a potential switch to Galatasaray, there were even further suggestions that Arsenal could release the midfielder from the remainder of his contract in order to facilitate the move. Fair play, Arteta ain't going to do his former teammate like that. Make sure you're hitting the like button if you haven't already, folks. We can change that, though. ELNENYS. Oh, gosh. ELNENYS. Oh. ELNENYS' dad speaks. Fair enough. 107.30. Big up, you lot. Make sure you're hitting the like button. What we are missing is a good quality central midfield, defensive midfielder like Frank Kessié. Well, I think Kessier's sick, but I think we're missing people who can do strengths in the other way. I don't think we're missing that. But I would love us to get our Guimaraes, all these guys, man. The guys that we're linked with. I would look at Tyler Adams as a possible replacement for Pepe. I hate that, man. Trust, I'm seeing Josh Kroenke skanking to Adele, bro. Trust the process and that. Crazy. So yeah, careful. People don't want anyone to enjoy their lives if your teammate won, really, which is crazy. I mean, it's depressing, man. Arsenal, come on, man. We've still got life, man. I mean, January is going to be a testing period because you're going to need to sort out Eddie Nketiah's future. You have to be receptive to offers for ELNENY and Lacazette, but can you let them go? They're going to make your squad weaker, aren't they? So it's a bit of a brazy one, isn't it, people? Big up everyone that was on Twitch because obviously we spoke about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer losing his job, and that will be uploaded in some time to you lot. In terms of other news, people, as you know, Oli lost his job. Zidane, Ten Hag, Pochettino, who seems to be the front runner, Ralph Rangnick, they all seem to be linked with the role. Maybe Ralph should come in and be director. Southgate has signed his new deal until 2024, people. Pedri's beaten Jude Bellingham to 2021 Golden Boy Award, as we previously said. Lyon versus Marseille was abandoned yesterday, as you all saw, after Payet was struck on the head with a water bottle. You know, it seems like there's one of them things there every week where France is concerned. A 26-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after an assault following QPR's match against Luton. Mad thing. And I mean, Cancelo's assist. What was it? Yesterday. Crazy. I genuinely don't know why we didn't go harder for Shabicha. He's exactly what profile we need to grow. He clearly had his heart set on Bayern Munich, innit? So it's a myth. He wanted to go and link up with Nagelsmann and that. DG Champions League watch-alongs this week, of course. Not out yet, but you know tomorrow, 5:45 and 8 p.m. kickoffs. I've got you. Tomorrow's Villarreal Man United. We're going to watch that. That's 5:45, 8 p.m. Who's playing at 8? I think Chelsea, Juventus. I might leave it to a vote, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to do Chelsea, Juventus, and Man United, Villarreal. Wednesday, I could be wrong about all of this. I'm sure Wednesday is Man City. Something tells me it's like Sporting Besiktas at 5:45. Pardon me. Or something like that. So I don't know, man. Probably that, man. You know I've got you. I've got you lot, man. Come on. Trying to reach 50,000 subscribers. Sorry, we're trying to get to 10k on Twitch as well. So we keep growing, we keep trying to develop and things. So yeah, man. Is there anything else in relation to football? I'm trying to see if there's anything. See what's going on. We've spoken about Renato, Sanchez. Jack Wilshere said, for all Arsenal fans, if you said you'd be fifth at this stage, especially after the start of the season, you'd have taken it. True. Tuchemani be elite. You need a customized Arsenal gaming chair, DG. Sean, so I know what you're getting me for Christmas, yeah? Big up, Sean. Hey, you lot throwing a PS5 as well. Shout out you. Come on. I hear that. Who wants my Christmas list? PS5, this gaming chair, Sean's volunteered, some Hennessy, some weed. What? What happened there? Man, some Ray and Nerf, the rest of it, man. Come on. Appreciate that. Do you want to keep Nketiah? If so, well gone for Balogun. Who's better? They look worse than Tammy. They're going to be worse than Tammy. I think Balogun's got a bit more about him, and even if he doesn't, I would want to try Balogun a bit more because I've seen what he can bring. I've seen a lot less of him in the first team, so I want him to get a chance, and I've seen him in the reserves. I don't know if these guys are going to make themselves levels in it. I would like Eddie to stay just so we can loan him out and do what your team does and make some top bread. Probably need to let him go. Not even probably. We need to let him go and make peas. I think Balogun might just have to stay until the end of the season because you've got Nketiah. Nketiah might leave, who clearly wants to go in Jan. Aubameyang's going off for a month. So that kind of leaves you just with Lacazette, potentially Martinelli, and maybe Balogun's opportunity. I do think there should be a reality where regardless of what's going on with AFCON, Eddie is sold. Balogun goes on loan and we try something else there. But I would say where Martinelli and Balogun are concerned, we've got to keep one eye on what happens in it. And obviously, God forbid, Aubameyang could go off to AFCON, Lacazette could get injured. Who the hell is going to play through the middle now? For me, that now presents Project Martinelli, but then you'd want to give Balogun chances. But such is football and how romantic it is at Arsenal. Somehow, Eddie starts playing. There's a new deal there. Did you get it? You know how it gets, man. So I would want to keep him to make bread. And I feel people write him off. I don't quite think Eddie's going to be this world-class striker or anything like that. But I think to write a man off after 22 years of age, very few strikers are the finished article. Where was Jamie Vardy, Harry Kane, or Aubameyang at 22 years of age like that? They were finding their feet respectfully. You know, I'm not saying he's going to be like that. Even where was Calvert-Lewin for the last couple of years? Because it's only been the last 2 years or something. Man, I'm moving mad, really. For a while, he looked like a joke, man. Respectfully, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So you have to wait a bit on players, but in relation to Eddie, the time's coming. It like he needs to go and play consistent football. Like you're not doing that. Man said them bots are adding to the Christmas list. Oh, please tell me that the bots aren't back disliking my ish, man. They probably are low key. You just can't see them allegedly. And obviously at 1 p.m. people, football manager. Well, at 4 p.m. I'm going to be live. At 1 p.m. it's a football manager rerun on my channel, man. This is what I'm saying. What was Vardy doing? Things that, and especially with strikers, and that's why you've got to be. This is why you've got to be very careful when you buy a striker, and that's why for me, I wanted to see us the minute Aubameyang signed that new deal. We're waiting. Okay, we might not in that 3-year period. We might not sign a striker this year, but right now, that's the level he's at. This year, he's had a good season. Now he's confirmed. Let's buy him because with Arsenal, whether it's strikers, whatever, I think we need to start buying people before they have the breakout seasons. Like Adeyemi, he's been on the scene for a while. In the first half of the season, you can't watch European football or talk about young European footballers and not talk about Karim Adeyemi. Do you get it? So it's one of them, man. Damn, I forgot about Martinelli. He binged us at the bridge. Arteta don't fancy, man. I don't think he does off the left or the right ahead of some of his options. So right now he's having to play the long game, really, if he's going to get a sniff of any first-team football where Arsenal are concerned. A lot can change in a year. Worst time being an Arsenal fan a year ago. Still is, bro. What's changed? But I hear that, man. But you're right, though, man. Things can change. But if you do your due diligence and you scout, then you have half a chance. Our problem is we're very reactive. Now, we saw a proactive approach, allegedly, with the recruitments we made in the summer. So hopefully we see a lot better, man. I'm trying to see if they... What's this? I mean, is this a proper Leclerc article of Renato Sanchez? And I mean, when you see Arsenal's attacking stats this season, off topic, people, 13th for goals, 13 goals puts us 14th. Open play goals 7 slaps us in 19th. Expected goals, and now that's some expected stat. We're 12th, so we're underperforming. Like even if we scored our expected goals, we'd still only be 12th, which again, that's not good enough. But we're underperforming. Possession, we're 13th. Shot conversion, we're 16th. Big chances, we've only created 7. We've got 19. I mean, is this Arsenal or is this Stoke? Fuck, you know. Jesus. That don't sound pretty. I know people, I didn't make up any of that, you know. Let me show you. Can you see it? It's crazy. It don't matter when you're winning, but playing devil's advocate is what we're doing sustainable then. When are you playing FM next? I'm playing live. I'm playing at 4 p.m. today. So, yeah, make sure you're following on Twitch and you're subscribed and you're checking out your schedules and setting reminders. 17th big chances created. And again, it comes back to Arteta's thing, but it comes back to looking at our midfield. Like, you're over-relying on Smith Rowe and Saka. You know, you ain't got the midfield technicians. You don't have much movement. You don't shoot. Bro, it's a negative cocktail. And again, these are things that should be addressed, man. Gravenberch would be a great look. He's having a terrible patch of form at the moment, but it'd be a very good look, man. We need to see the goal to uplift our spirits. You know, I ain't ran that for a while, man, but fuck it.
Against this right back
I swear I'm level with Arsenal for outside of the goals this season. You know the ones there, the best players, sometimes you just got to create your own goals. You get it? Like me, I don't need a first touch and that. Not every player can do things like that, but you're not... In fact, I don't even know who that player was. Whoever it is, they sound like they look good, man. They look good still. But anyways, you got what you needed, man. Man said, I wanted you to play that goal so bad when you were doing that game with Frimi the other week. If I had it to hand, then, you know, I would have tried to... Come on out. My goal getting ran on Arsenal's Twitch page. If we could, I would have, man. You mad? Come on. I'm trying to get up this other Renato Sanchez interview for you lot people, but it's moving all mad. Oh, L'Equipe, you got to subscribe. I ain't subscribing to no L'Equipe. To be fair, £1 for the first month until you charge me like 50 quid without me knowing. Boy, someone called Arteta needs more time followed me. What a guy, man. DG Tomiyasu, respect me. Like, Tomiyasu don't go forward like that. There's bare seasoning there. I would dump Xhaka, ELNENYS and get Bruno Guimaraes and Kessie on a free. Would improve us massively. Only the best teams could score and defend. Arteta wants to fix the structural damage that's been done since Campbell and Thingy retired. And we can defend all right. Literally, not only the best teams can score or defend. That's literally the difference between staying in the league. If you score hella goals but you concede hella, you're getting relegated. You know, looking at goal difference, all these things makes the difference. Of course, only certain teams can be known as an elite defensive side and an elite offensive side. But that's a bit of nonsense, Alexander, don't you reckon? We've got to a level defensively. We need to see the same building blocks in an attacking sense. You've not seen anything beyond Smith Rowe and them and there. At least you could say with the new signings and how we're defending a bit better. Definitely not off the Liverpool game. You can say we're getting a bit better in that regard. You can't say we're getting better offensively. You genuinely can't. I hope we get there. But I mean, this is his second full season now. Something needs to go on now. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. It's quite upsetting, really, but the world keeps spinning, innit? The world keeps spinning. You can already see Arsenal's Twitter page doing the, Monday morning training. Let's get it and that. Newcastle's a cup final. Black Friday on Arsenal.com. You lot are going to steal my money again. Fair enough. Fair enough. What's this from Arsene Wenger? Not quite anything of relevance. Well, it is what it is. What does Pepe have to do to get playing time? He would help us with creativity and our lacking of creating chances. I mean, when he had the opportunity, he didn't. And I think he deserves an opportunity because I feel not just him, but if there's any rotation, Saka's not really done the job at this moment. Don't get it twisted. I start Saka every day of the week and them things. But if we're keeping it true, people said Tini deserves to lose his place anyways. Saka still strong, makes us stronger and gives us a lot defensively, but he doesn't defend better than Pepe. And when you keep people out the team, you give them a chance. I'm not saying free Saka out or free Saka out or freeze Tavares out forever. It's just if we're keeping it true, it's definitely with Saka. You haven't been terrible in all these games, but you've been quite underwhelming. And I'd say Liverpool, you was anonymous. That's the first time in a while Saka for me has been anonymous. I didn't know you was there. It is what it is. You're a young man. You're gonna have these games, but it's a squad game. People need to get opportunities, and I don't think Pepe is going to get one. He didn't take his opportunity against Leeds, but yeah, man, I definitely wanted Pepe to come on for Saka because I think the very things that frustrate me about Pepe in that game, I needed you to just go on a mad run. Probably end up losing the ball, but it just gets us high up the field. It just gives them some defending. It just makes some Liverpool man have to commit. And, I like you saw that weren't quite the case. So it is what it is. Firmly, really, like you just have to go again. What Newcastle, United, Everton, bro? You need to do what you can in it. You piss about, it's gonna get along. Trying to see if there's any new Arsenal news. Lacazette not rushing into his decision. Tired of hearing about Guendouzi talking about Marseille. We get it, mate. I would love Guendouzi to return, but apparently Ramsey wants one last Juventus push before Premier League return. And obviously, let's hope he can do something against Chelsea in a couple of days. Will Shearer said, don't forget progress made. Without stating the obvious, it goes down to the big three, and that's what gives Arsenal a real chance for top four because no one is making a real run for it at the moment. In terms of the title, I hope Chelsea pull too far ahead. In terms of the title, I hope Chelsea pull too far ahead, but Liverpool and City are both top teams. and there won't be many games that will drop points. It will hurt when the player's on the bus and the manager's hurting, but Liverpool will do that to teams. We can't get carried away, and the manager talks about progress, and they're still on that journey. And sometimes with young players, you don't get consistency. 1-0 at Anfield isn't a bad place to be, but they changed something and pressed high, and it made it a lot more difficult for Arsenal to try to stick to the game plan. But Liverpool made that too difficult for all Arsenal fans. If you said you'd be fifth at this stage, especially after the start of the season, we'd have taken it. I've seen some of the biggest team in the world come here and collapse. They were better than us for 96 minutes. That's the levels they've been together for 6 years, and you could see that. But Harrison looks decent, man, from what I've seen. He's starting over Pulisic in the national team, and he has performed statistically better than Szoboszlai. He's a good player, but I'm yet to be wowed, if I'm honest, like the wow moment. DG, are you going to wait for the Lord to do his work like he did with Liverpool and bless man with a Suarez and continue under the radar? Then boom, you sell them for big money. Any quality players, I don't think I want to sell for big money, my guy. You know, ain't got too many of them here. You know, I'm dying to see a Mesut Ozil, a Santi Cazorla, Alexis Sanchez. You know, if you want to take it that far, I don't need to state the obvious. Thierry Henry. I just want a talisman. I want a talisman. I want, when it looks peak for Arsenal, they might not always win it by themselves, but there's a beacon of hope. And it's not that there's people that I don't see as hope. I just don't see it. And sometimes them little things there can just G up the rest of the team when things are not going our way. Like, obviously, when we're 4-0 done against Liverpool, the game's done. But just from someone just being when Alexis used to move like a madman in an Arsenal shirt, just from him doing that, we might make it 5-2, 5-4-1 or something. Just give them something. That's what I wanted at some point, Carl. I can't imagine what their analytical team are going to try and work and improve. You know, all I would probably say is, you know, you lot should have been how did you allow a scenario where Arsenal were 20, 30, maybe even 20, 30 odd minutes without conceding? That's probably all they can go over, because they kept a clean sheet. They scored goals. They exploited us. They turned it up a level. Madness, man. We ain't got no talisman. Trust. Hope she can. Do you think Arteta can see that Tommy does not go forward much, or that Pepe defends better than Saka? I mean, he must do, but then that's the only thing Pepe does better than Saka. On current form, probably not, but that's the only thing he does better. And I mean, if he scouted Tomiyasu, he needs to. You know, every player's got weaknesses, so he needs to find a way to mitigate against that handicap, because people are going to get onto man. And from what I'm seeing from Tomiyasu, I don't think we're going to see any prolonged quality in the mid from our right wing or whoever it is if he doesn't offer slightly more. I think Lautaro could replicate Alexis, maybe 85%, but Alexis had this maverick arrogance. I don't really see in world football right now. Maybe Rafinha, but he's too chill. I'd love Rafinha, but again, these men are either going to cost pretty money, or you just don't have much hope that Arsenal are going to put the bread down for such, man. But it is what it is. On that note, though, people, I'm going to get out of here. With it being 1 p.m, I can't lie. It's time to go have some lunch. I've been doing 2 live streams. I'm looking forward to my chicken and rice. I've been thinking about it for the last half hour. Check out my other content that you haven't. You know, yesterday I spoke about the game as well. So check out that live stream. Make sure you're following on Twitch, because I'm live at 4 p.m. Please go and show, man, some love on my Football Manager one if you're a Football Manager head as well, because that should be out at 1 o'clock. Hit the like button on that. So, yeah, man. Vlahovic, the next Van Persie. I mean, he's not going to play for Arsenal, so it don't matter, man. I'm hoping to watch the Wenger doc today. I might do that as well. But yeah, all of you lot, stay safe, stay in good health. It's Monday, people. So go and attack your goals aggressively. Go and, you know, go and try and build the lives you guys want, man. As usual, I'm very appreciative of you lot locked in. 130 likes. If you have not hit the like button, please hit that already, people. Yeah, stay safe, stay blessed. I'll be back again at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So Tuesday, 10 a.m. on Twitch, 11:30 again on YouTube tomorrow as well, people. And obviously Tuesday and Wednesday with the 5:45s and 8 o'clock kickoffs, you know you're going to get watch-alongs. The first 2 watch-alongs, Tuesday's watch-alongs are probably both going to be on YouTube. I'm probably going to do one on Twitch and one on YouTube on Wednesday. So yeah, bare content this week, you know, general live streams. Going to get some collabs going. Arsenal versus Newcastle at the weekend. Couple other things to do and whatnot. It's a jam-packed week across Twitch and YouTube. So I appreciate you lot support. Stay blessed, stay safe. You lot make this for what it is, people. Hit the sub button if you haven't, as we look to build towards 50k. Gonna love and leave you lot, people. Stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out.
Because you always use that active red line.
defending.
I think it's like